All right, so today I'm going to be doing a little presentation on the five-factor model for personality traits, and it's why teams with diverse personalities and diverse thoughts and traits work well together. This is part one where we just introduce you to the different personality traits. I'm going to use an example of a team as we discuss the personality traits. Okay. And again, this is diversity of thought, not diversity of any other phenotypical physical characteristics. All right. Oh, gosh. Uh, sorry about the the view there. Let's see if I can. I don't think I can move myself. Let's just go through this. So openness, these are the five traits. It's known as the five-factor model. It's the widely accepted framework for psychology to describe human personality. And you might be familiar with other models like the Myers-Briggs. Let me do this so you can see me better. Um, and this is I guess, the most up to date. And the five factors are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. I'm going to go ahead and just read this slide for you. So openness, again, this is openness to experience. The trait reflects the extent to which a person is open-minded, imaginative, and willing to engage with new ideas, experiences, and perspectives. Individuals that are high in openness tend to be creative, curious, adventurous, as opposed to those who are low in openness. They are more conventional, practical, and they're resistant to change. Conscientiousness, this refers to the degree of organization, responsibility, self-discipline that a person has. Think of someone like in the military, very dutiful, bound to honor kind of thing. People who are high in conscientiousness, they're typically organized, reliable, goal-oriented, while those who are low in conscientiousness, they tend to be more disorganized, impulsive, and prone to procrastination. The third factor is extroversion. You might know what this is, right? Someone who's very sociable, right? So this measures the level of sociability. These people are assertive, they're positive emotionally, they're outgoing, energetic, they're very social. They thrive in social situations. They look and seek for social situations because that's where they perform well. As opposed to introverts, on the other hand, they're more reserved, introspective, and they prefer solitary activities. Not that introverts don't do well in social situations. They can, but they tend to like do well if they're there for a needed reason. Then once they're not needed anymore, they tend to sort of recluse back into their introverted solitary activities. Agreeableness, this reflects the degree to kindness, empathy, cooperativeness of a person when they work with others. So someone who's very high in agreeableness, they're very compassionate, trusting, considerate, as opposed to someone who's low in agreeableness. They tend to be more competitive, they're more skeptical, they're more self-focused, inwardly focused. The last one is neuroticism. I know you can't read that because my head's in the way, but this measures the tendency of someone to experience negative emotions. This is kind of related to emotional intelligence. In fact, I think emotional intelligence is derived from neuroticism or the reverse of neuroticism. Um, I don't think emotional intelligence is actually a new idea. I think it's just a rebranding of neuroticism or emotional stability. So this looks at people's how they deal with anxiety, depression. They're typically vulnerable to all these. They're vulnerable to stress. So if they're high in neuroticism, they may be more prone to mood swings. They're a little bit more insecure. They're very emotionally unstable. They tend to think that if something's going on, it's about them. They feel like everyone's talking about them in the office. That kind of a person. Um, so that's someone who's highly neurotic, as opposed to someone who's very low in neuroticism, right? They're more emotionally stable. We might even say they're emotionally intelligent. They're resilient and they're able to cope with life's challenges. All right. And this is the team I'm going to use to describe the 5-factor model for personality traits. This is from a TV show called the Bad Batch, Clone Force 99. If you're familiar with Star Wars and the Clone Wars and the that whole series, right? There's a TV show called the Bad Batch, and just to give you a little background on that, 4 of these individuals were actually uh, cloned with a defect that didn't allow them to carry out the order to kill the Jedi, which made them independent thinkers from the rest of the stormtroopers. One of them joins the team because he was actually injured, and they do some enhancements on him, and that actually allows him to start thinking with different perspectives that lets him, go out independently from the normal stormtrooper clone, um, you know, infantry. What's interesting about this, and I want you to think about it, is that they're all the same DNA. Remember this. And I know it's just a fictional cartoon animation show, but keep that in mind. These are all um, DNA. Basically, you can say they're twins. Not all twins, even identical twins, look exactly alike. So they all have the same DNA. They all have the same capabilities. So we're removing all of those phenotypical uh, traits that contribute to the trait, the nurture and nurture. We're kind of minimizing that quite a lot and just focusing on the personalities that these individuals develop in the TV show. So I think it's really cool. It's a real cool example, or I wouldn't say case study because it's an animation. All right, so let's talk about the first one. And his name is Hunter, right? He's the leader of the Bad Batch. He possesses a real distinctive set of personality traits that shape his character and interactions within the group that actually make him ideal to be the leader. I have a little video I'm going to play, and hopefully you can hear me, and I'll try to talk loud enough. In fact, I'll try to put the microphone right here so that you can hear what I'm saying over the video. I don't want to turn off the video volume all the way. I want you to kind of hear a little bit about it. But let's go ahead and start this right there. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, so let's talk about his first characteristic trait, Hunter. He's well, he's moderate to high in openness, right? So he's adaptable, he's creative in various situations. He devises unconventional strategies to accomplish missions. Think about this is, traits for a good leader. He's willing to embrace new challenges. He thinks outside the box, and that's how he contributes to the Bad Batch, effectively helping them navigate complex missions. His conscientiousness, he's very high in conscientiousness, which is good for a leader. He's disciplined. He's a responsible leader for the group. He's organized. He's focused on his objectives. He's committed to ensuring the success of their missions. And he's a very detailed, attention to detail kind of person, strong work ethic. And again, that contributes to the cohesion and the efficiency of the Bad Batch group, right? The extroversion personality trait, he leans toward extroversion, which is probably good for a leader. He displays confidence. He's very assertive and sociable in his interactions with the team. As a leader, he's comfortable taking charge. He has to make the tough decisions, as you know most leaders do, even if there'll be decisions that may not be popular with the group. And often he's the one who guides the team through challenging situations with his strong leadership skills, right? He's got that ability to engage with others. He builds rapid rapport. He fosters a sense of camaraderie within the Bad Batch group. And not just within this group, it's actually moving the group forward when they interact with other people in the animation. His agreeableness. So he's the leader, so his values and are with loyalty and cooperation with a team. So he does score a little low on agreeableness. I think this is necessary for a leader as compared to all the other traits, right? So he prioritizes the success of the mission and efficiency, and sometimes that makes making those tough decisions and prioritizing objectives over the interpersonal harmony of the group It makes it tough, but he's the one who can do it. So he's not. If he was agreeable, he would just kind of give into what the group wanted. But he's very loyal to the comrades. He's willing to support them in times of need, and he demonstrates a real good sense of camaraderie and loyalty to the group. Now, when it comes to neuroticism, you want this in a good leader. You want to have low neuroticism. So he remains calm. He's composed under pressure. He handles stressful situations with confidence. He's very resilient. He instills that sense of stability in the team, and he just stays level-headed and focused. So in the most challenging circumstances, he contributes this to the Bad Batch's ability to overcome all those obstacles and achieve the goal of the main mission. All right. Let's. I know you can't see me, which is good. I don't mind, as long as you can see the video. All right, Wrecker. So Wrecker, I think a lot of people know this type of character. Again, remember, same DNA, same everything. But his characteristics, his personality is different, distinctively different from Hunter's, right? He's called Wrecker for a reason. He's the powerhouse of Bad Batch. His sort of like defect is that he's very, very strong, right? But on top of that, his personality is actually what we're focused on here, right? His openness, his conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So let's go ahead and go to the video. I'm not going to play it yet because, again, I think this is a very short video. And the video will finish before I can go over his traits. But when we look at Wrecker's openness, how he rates, he demonstrates lower levels of openness compared to other members of the Bad Batch. He tends to rely more on brute force and direct action rather than strategic thinking or innovation. Remember, he's strong and he jumps in head first. His approach to problem solving is very straightforward, and it's like was it muscle over mind. Um, so he prefers simple solutions to complex solutions, and as long as he can exert that and show off his incredible strength, which is part of his defect from the cloning, uh, he'll do it. Let me go ahead and play the video now, and then I'll kind of go through the rest of his characteristics. So when it comes to conscientiousness, Wrecker exhibits lower conscientiousness. Doesn't mean he doesn't care about his comrades, right? It's because he's very impulsive, spontaneous. He's less focused on following orders and rules. In fact, he doesn't like it. He tends to act on his impulses. He's got very little control. All right, he he reacts to his desires, and a lot of times he just disregards the consequences of his actions to himself and to his group, his team. But he doesn't mean to put them in harm's way purposefully, right? So that just gotta keep that in mind with his personality. He has this unwavering loyalty to his teammates, so he'll do anything for them. He has a willingness to put himself in harm's way to protect them, right? So he's about being the tough guy, and he'll take the he'll take the brunt of the force over them. Extroverted, very. Again, he's very energetic, very enthusiastic. Again, he has a love for social interaction, but he also likes being the center of attention. So whenever they run across a new situation, he jumps in head first with his strength and tries to solve the problem that way. He looks for opportunities for excitement, adventure. He's that type of person. He's outgoing. He seems to have like a boundless amount of energy. He just loves to keep on, pushing. And so he kind of livens up the atmosphere within the Bad Batch. He makes sure that it's never boring. When it comes to his agreeableness, he's got this rough exterior, right? But he possesses a very high level of agreeableness. And this is what I call him, that tough teddy bear kind of thing. Even though he's big and he's strong and he's got way more strength than all of them, he's very loyal to the team. He loves forming strong bonds with everybody. He has this unwavering support. He gives of himself more so, and he's very warm-hearted. I call him that big, tough teddy bear kind of person, which people might be familiar with that. His nature, right, is to his comrades. He he's beloved, a member of the team because of who he is, right? Even though he's a little reckless, right? For neuroticism, he actually exhibits low neuroticism, right? He's very emotionally stable. He's resilient, even in dangerous and challenging situations. He approaches life carefree, optimistic. He doesn't let things set him back. Obstacles, nothing brings him down. It's rare that something brings him down. And he has this ability to stay calm under pressure, and he maintains this positive outlook, and that contributes to the Bad Batch's morale and cohesion. So he gives that to the team. All right, let's go to the next one. Tech. All right. So this is Tech. Again, sorry, my head is in the way here, but I'll talk about his personality traits: his openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. Tech. Think of your friend who's very engineery, right? Very sciency. This is Tech, and I've got a little video for him as well. I'm not gonna play it yet because the video is kind of short, and it always I wouldn't be able to get through the his traits before the video ends. So who's Tech, right? Out of the group, he's that tech savvy member. That's why he's called Tech. And his distinctive personality is shaped by his five-factor model traits, right? So one, he's open to experience, highly open to experience. He's a little bit different in that he's highly open to technology, intellectual curiosity. So if it's in that realm, he's highly open to it. He's very curious. He's very innovative. Um, I know you can't see me. Um, yeah, he explores new ideas, especially when it comes to technology. He embraces complexity. He loves engaging, especially when it's with an advanced system, because he's loving to learn. He wants to learn new concepts, learn how new things work. He wants to be able to use his existing knowledge to solve intricate problems, and he wants to overcome challenges. But if they're technical challenges, he thrives on them. He loves them. Right? When it comes to conscientiousness, he exhibits high conscientiousness within the show. And this is because he's very meticulous. He pays attention to detail. Think of your standard engineer. He's disciplined. He takes that disciplined approach to task. Let me go ahead and play the video real quick, and I'll continue with his explanation. Right? He's highly organized, the way you would think someone who's scientific is, and methodical in his work. He strives for accuracy, precision. He prefers his analysis and operations. He's very reliable. He's very thorough. And this is what he uses to contribute to Bad Batch's effectiveness on the success of the mission. So you can trust his perspective on something because he's thought it through. In fact, he's relied on quite a bit also for strategy. Extrovert, he leans toward being more of an introvert. So think of like your standard technician, engineer, which tend to be more introverted. He's more reserved, very introspective. He prefers to focus on data analysis and technological tasks. So he likes that kind of stuff over social interactions. He'd rather be working with a computer than an individual. So he doesn't seek out social engagements, but he's capable of collaborating with his teammates very, very well. So he's not antisocial by any means. He understands the importance of the social aspect. He just has a difficult time um, uh, helping when he sees someone who needs that moral, sensitive support. But he does try, so he's good. When it comes to agreeableness, he demonstrates moderate agreeableness. Again, he's cooperative, he's supportive within the team, but remember, his focus is more logical and reason. So someone who's logical and thinks of reason, it has to be a reason for everything, like a good reason. That'll kind of lead to conflicts, especially when it's within interpersonal dynamics. So he'll value efficiency and effectiveness in achieving whatever objective. He prioritizes the goal over maintaining harmony within a group. So The goal is more important. The efficiency is more important. Um, no matter what it takes. But he does care for people. So when it comes to neuroticism, he's also very low in neuroticism. Right? He tends to remain calm. He's composed. He's very confident. So even in high pressure situations, he remains rational, logical, and that's what guides his actions. So he's emotionally stable. You would say he has probably higher emotional intelligence, if you want to use that term. And he's adaptable in challenges, especially if it's tech challenges, which he thrives on. He just comes alive when it's a technical challenge. Uh, it's that inner technical drive that he has within himself as well, not just an external drive. What else? He loves problem solving, and that problem solving, that technical problem solving, is how he contributes to Bad Batch's ability to navigate complex, dangerous missions, and he helps them get through it successfully. All right, let's go to Crosshair. Crosshair is different. Um, they're all different, and they all have their usefulness and their pros and cons to the team. Some are a little harder to tolerate, but the team is very they're like family. So they'll never turn their back on him, even if he does something uh, that's that puts duty over the team. Right. So again, I'm not going to click on this right away because it tends to finish before I finish with his analysis. Again, these are fictional characters. None of these characters took a psychological trait test unless they took one before they entered the Empire. I'm pretty sure they took one somewhere throughout their training and stormtrooper training. Um, but again, these are just speculations based on what I've seen on the TV show, on the animation. So Crosshair, his main thing is that he's a great shooter. He's a sharpshooter. That's why he's called Crosshair. Uh, and that's just skill. I mean, he's like the person who doesn't miss. You're not going to outshoot him. But he also has a really distinctive personality uh, that helps and hurts the team, right? So for one, his openness to experience, being someone who has a skill that is very honed and takes lots of practice and lots of repetition, he tends to be very moderate in openness, right? He's not very high and trying new things and being very creative. His ability to be a great sharpshooter and always hit his target with precision and his tactical planning. All of these are based on rigid rules of engagement, and so he's very resistant to change. He has a certain way of doing things. He prefers familiarity and tradition. He'll rely back on that. He'll fall back on those kinds of things. He relies on established methods that he learned in the Empire, and you'll notice this in season one. Well, I won't spoil it if you've not seen it. And so he relies on those methods, those strategies, rather than embracing new ideas or approaches, which is what the Bad Batch tends to do, right? They all seem to have to embrace new approaches because they don't fit in with the stormtroopers anymore. In fact, not only do they not fit in with the stormtroopers, they become enemies of the Empire. Conscientiousness. Well, okay, let me go ahead and play the video now, and I hope that this you'll be able to hear me as a video. Hopefully the video is low. All right, when it comes to conscientiousness, Crosshair, he's very high in conscientiousness. Again, he's characterized by his discipline, his precision, his attention to detail. This is what makes him that great sharpshooter. This is why he never misses. He's very methodical. He's very thorough. He's very meticulous in his planning and his execution. So all this practice, 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 perfect practice. This is what makes him really high in conscientiousness. I mean, he's going to do his job right. He's going to do it well, better than anybody else. And well, you'll see
I
later, not
know.
really for the benefit of getting accolades from others. It's really
I
more himself internally. He
I
drives
thought I
himself
knew
to
what
be
I
like
was
this
getting
perfect
into
shooter.
with
All
the
right.
Empire.
So that makes him very
I
reliable. He's
thought
very
I was
committed to
being
excellence. All right. So
the
he is
good
committed to the
soldier.
team, but he's committed to excellence over the team. Um,
Nobody
so
really
this does
understood what was
contribute
happening back then.
to the Bad Batch's effectiveness,
I've
including and
done
completing their
things.
objectives when he is a part
I've
of the
made
missions.
mistakes.
When it comes to
I owe you
extroversion,
much too,
he
Prisoner.
leans toward being introverted. Again, think of
All
him
we
like a
can do
sniper. He's out there
is
somewhere, he's planning,
keep
he has
trying
his
to
way
be
of doing
better.
things,
And
and he does them
who
really, really
knows?
well. And he's going to get his mission
There just
accomplished. So
might
he
be
tends to
hope
be
for us
more
yet.
um, aloof, right? He tends to work independently. He'll distance himself from the social interactions. He doesn't like them, right? It's not that he he prefers uh, uh, solitary activities, and he'll work sometimes with social interactions. No, he doesn't like social interactions. He focuses on his role as being like a good sniper. He doesn't seek out companionship. He doesn't need it, and he contributes to the team because of his exceptional skill and his
I thought that the
strategic
end of the
insight. Because
war
he plans and
would
he
mean an
thinks
end to
so
losing
well.
more of our brothers.
When it comes to agreeableness,
Our
you'll
mission
probably
is
guess
not
that he
over
has
yet.
very low agreeableness. He's very
But you
argumentative
look
in the
like the
show. He's
importance
very
the message you
critical.
are
He's
the
less
future of
inclined
this
towards
empire.
working with the team. He
They
doesn't
are coming
compromise.
for
So
all of
he
you.
prioritizes his efficiency, his effectiveness over accomplishing the mission. And sometimes that clashes with the teammates and clashes with their divergent opinions and approaches because he's
If you enjoyed this
he's
episode, and
stuck
frankly, even
on
if you didn't, don't forget to
tradition and
subscribe and share
methodology
it. And if you want to help spread the
because
word,
of his high
please give this video a
conscientiousness.
thumbs up and tell your
So
friends to
he tends to be
subscribe.
very
Please
skeptical
check
of
out
new
the usual
ideas.
Star
He's
Wars Coffee
super
merchandise,
independent,
and don't forget to check out
and
all of the content playlists on this
you'll
channel,
see if you watch
including
the show, he
Rise of
creates a lot of
Skywalker,
tension
The
within the group.
Mandalorian, and much more.
But because he distances himself from the group and he kind of like thinks outside the box, he brings that perspective into the group because he's not being influenced by the group so much. He can give a much better strategic um, input to the group when it's necessary. When it comes to neuroticism, he scores very high in neuroticism. You might know someone like this, someone who wants to be a perfectionist, someone who wants to get the A in every class, or be the top employee, whatever. Very high in neuroticism. Uh, it's good, but then he tends to be very cynical, skeptical. He's prone to displaying negative emotions, like a drama queen. So he's all over the place. He can harbor feelings of distrust. He tends to resent authority figures, institutions. He doesn't like authority. He doesn't like rules. Actually, no, he loves rules, but he thinks he can do it better. That's all. So he loves authority as long as he's the authority, because he just thinks he does it better. Um, so he tends to have this pessimistic outlook on life, especially when someone else is running the show, because he's very, very critical of them. Um, he's emotional. His intensity is high. His determination is actually inner driven by his need to excel within himself. So even though his excellence supports and benefits a team, he's really doing it for himself, and that he wants to become a better version of himself, and so he overcomes obstacles for that reason. Echo. Okay. Echo is a little different than the other Bad Batch groups, only because Echo was a normal stormtrooper. I mean, he was part of the group, very loyal, very, like the typical military person. Uh, but he gets hurt, right? He gets shot, and what they do is they take advantage of that, and they experiment with him, and they give him some cybernetic enhancements. Um, and so that actually helps shape his personality because he's no longer just a normal stormtrooper. And so he's able to start experiencing his own um, view on things. Think of like a veteran, someone who's retired from the military and they've had this rigid, structured life their entire life, and they go to civilian world and they're trying to learn how to adapt to a civilian life. They still have that military bearing in them, but they're also trying to express maybe what they used to be a long time ago, that openness and stuff. So this is kind of what his character reminds me of. So again, he's enhanced by cybernetic implants. He has distinct personality traits of his own, unlike the other, the rest of the stormtroopers. Okay, so before I play this video, I'm going to do the same thing. Let's talk a little bit about him first, and I'll click the video about halfway through. So again, he was a regular clone army. He joins the Bad Batch later after he gets those implants, and he has his personality is developing, which is what I like about his character, right? Because he's just now kind of free to think on his own. So it's not something he's had for a while. The other Bad Batch, they were always able to think on their own. They were never programmed to follow um, uh, those programmed orders from the Empire to kill the Jedi and stuff, or like the others had no choice. Um, he also took part in that. He had no choice. Right. So let's talk about his openness. Now, openness after the enhancements and after he's been sort of like removed from the Stormtrooper Alliance, right? So he demonstrates like a moderate level of openness. Um, he's more conventional in his thinking because he was a standard clone trooper, and that those experiences throughout the entire, like the Clone Wars, they and all the way up to his transformation to the cyborg he is now, that sort of expanded his perspective. So he has a unique perspective here. Um, he he shows a high adaptability. He has this willingness to embrace new technologies and strategies. So he's very open to new ideas, which is why I think he was open to the implants. That was just something that was hidden in him. And even though he still has that kind of openness, and I think of that, I relate that to like a civilian who's not in the military anymore, that they're willing to like venture out and be creative. He still retains some of that caution and skepticism toward unfamiliar ideas because of his training. Conscientiousness, he's very high in conscientiousness. Now, again, this could be because of his training, right? He's very disciplined, he's reliable, he has a commitment to duty, and he's dedicated to fulfilling whatever responsibilities what he had with the stormtroopers, and then now that he's part of the Bad Batch, he has a responsibility to them, and he takes that seriously, where he will fulfill his responsibilities. So he's still that stormtrooper uh, with those characteristics, but he's learning to explore his kind of new freedoms with Bad Batch. But he still has those characteristics. He does strive for excellence in his work, and he does demonstrate a sense of loyalty to his comrades. So it's not just a programmed uh, behavior that that was ingrained to the stormtrooper. He actually has this um, this connection with the Bad Batch. But again, always focused on protocols, effectiveness, and completing missions. That stormtrooper is still in him. You can take the stormtrooper out of the Empire, but you can't take the Empire out of the stormtrooper, right? When it comes to, so let me go ahead and play the video now. When it comes to extroversion, Echo, he leans toward introversion, right? So he's more introspective. At this point in the stage, he's introspective. He's very reserved compared to some of the other outgoing teammates. He prefers to observe and analyze situations before he takes any action, and that makes sense because he's experiencing a whole new world. He wasn't before he followed orders, and this is the first time he's able to venture out on his own. He's smart enough not to just jump and do whatever he wants. He's thinking, analyzing, looking, kind of seeing where he fits in, right? Which is like what somebody who retires from the military tries to do. They don't just jump out and try to do whatever they want. They observe and try to like find their place first. So he's very strategic. He has a lot of technical expertise from behind the scenes because he was a stormtrooper, so he contributes this as well. Uh, he doesn't go out of his way to seek social interactions as eagerly as the others, but he does value camaraderie, and that probably comes from his time with the clones. So, yeah, that is a little introversion, but there's a little extroversion there as well. Again, he is unique because he's like he came out of that environment. When it comes to agreeableness, Echo he has a high level of agreeableness, so that could also come from his training as a stormtrooper. He's cooperative, he's empathetic, he's committed to the well-being of the teammates. Again, despite his transformation and having all those enhancements and having those cyborg transplants and all those unique abilities, he's very very grounded. He's approachable. He's very humble. Um, he has an affinity for having bonds with and friendships with people, and he builds his trust with Bad Batch because of that. Now remember, they're all the same DNA. They're all basically the same person. So in a way, they all see each other as like brothers. And so he values, but as far as personality, his distinct personality, he values teamwork, collaboration. He always lends a helping hand, and he wants to support his comrades in times of need. So now, when it comes to neuroticism, he's moderately neurotic, and that is understandable, considering his journey to where he is at now. Right. So again, moderately neurotic, moderately open, not too extreme. He's kind of like right in the middle. He's very, very cautious. He's just experiencing this freedom. So this is somebody who's developing, which is nice to see his character develop. Also, remember, he experienced trauma. He was shot. He was enhanced. Think of anybody you know from the military who has PTSD, what they're going through. So they're kind of moderately neurotic. It's you can't shake that off. He's undergone significant changes throughout his life, and especially like someone in the military who's getting out, and now they have kind of like freedom of where they can go, what they can do. He's kind of experimenting slowly with that, but he kind of like goes back to what's familiar. So as far as being highly neurotic, no, moderate. He still demonstrates some good resilience, emotional stability. He copes with things. He's coping with change. That's probably what allowed him to survive after he got shot and could have died. So he has this determination to persevere and in the face of adversity. So he's got this inner strength, inner resolve that was in him, not just because he's a stormtrooper. That allowed him to like fight to survive. So that fight continues after these changes, and it drives him to fight alongside his um, comrades in what he believes to be right. Oh, did I not play the echo thing? Son of a gun. Sorry. And so you'll see here the video that, right, he's a normal stormtrooper. Um, yeah, see there you can see he's doesn't get he doesn't get along with people, but he does have a sort of an independent uh, personality, even as a normal stormtrooper. So he was already kind of on his way to being different from the others. Um, And then after he gets injured, he gets the enhancements put in him to keep him alive and make him stronger and so forth. A better stormtrooper. All right, I won't play the rest of this. Let's go into the next video.